Hello, people. Top of the morning to you. Yeah, I'm shooting in the morning. It's a beautiful morning. Yes, and I hope you're holding up just fine. It is your book review, baby girl, like I always call myself. And I bring you greetings from all the books all over the world. So like I promised in the last video we posted, I said there was a new book already in the blog, and the book is already here with us, and today we shall be reviewing our best few chapters. I don't know how much we can cover, but let's see how far we can go. You know, we don't like to rush, we don't like to skip things. We'll try as much as we can to get the best out of this book on this video, so come with me. So it's a book written by Napoleon Hill. Guess. Think and Grow Rich. So much has been said about this book. This version was revised and expanded by author R. Yes, so much about this book I have heard. Like I said, you're about to find out why it is so talked about. I'd like us to read the back cover and see what we can fetch from it, just to give us an idea of what to expect. Yes, The Think and Grow Rich is the seminal work by the well-loved and world-renowned Napoleon Hill, a contemporary of Dale Carnegie. Originally published in 1937, Hill's money-making secrets are powerful today as they were then and can change your life forever. Forever. After interviewing over 500 of the most affluent men and women of his time, Napoleon Hill uncovered the secret to great wealth based on the notion that if we can learn to think like the rich, we can discover wealth and success. He developed a simple but powerful 13-step formula to help you to 1. Identify your goals, 2. Master the secret of true and lasting success, 3. Obtain whatever you want in life, 4. Join the ranks of the super successful. It says this exciting, updated and revised version provides examples of men and women who in recent times exemplify the principles that Hill put forward, including the success stories of top achievers such as Bill Gates and Steven Spielberg. It's clear that Hill's philosophies are as valid today as they were first written. So let's dive straight into chapter 1. The power of thought. The power of thought. It says the man who thought his way into partnership with Thomas Edison. This is who the story is about. Truly, thoughts are things, and powerful things at that. When mixed with purpose, persistence, and a burning desire for their translation into riches or material objects. So in this chapter, a story was told about a man called Edwin C. Barnes. He was a young man who woke up one morning and said he wanted to, get into partnership with the famous Thomas Edison. We all know who Thomas Edison is. Yes. So he woke up one morning and said he was going to be a partner with the great inventor. He didn't have a means to go to the city where Thomas Edison lived, and he was far away. There was no money, there was no means, but there was a will. And we all know the popular adage that says where there is a will, there is a way. Now, guess what he did? He entered a blind baggage train. Yes. What is a blind baggage train? A blind baggage train or van or whatever is a vehicle or a train that carries, freights like way bills, Nigerians will call it. And it's not even ventilated. They don't have windows or any of those things. They just have one access door. So this was the kind of vehicle that Edwin Barnes would board all the way to see Thomas Edison. And he did. And he got there. Now, said he presented himself at Mr. Edison's laboratory and announced he had come to go into business with the inventor. The audacity. Had no money, had nothing, and you're coming into partnership. What do you bring to the table? But he had this thought, and he had this burning desire, and no one was going to steal that away from him. Now, this is what Edison had to say, a couple of years later. Edison said, he stood there before me looking like an ordinary tramp. But there was something in the expression of his face which conveyed the expression that he was determined to get what he had come after. Determination. But here's what's funny, yeah? Thomas Edison listened to him, but then, didn't give it so much thought. But gave him an opportunity, to still work with him. Not as a partner, of course. What did he have to offer then? But he was working as one of the sales, representative. He had, people who would go out, market his inventions and all of that. 5 years down the line, Thomas Edison invented a machine, and all of his other sales reps were not really interested in marketing the product. And this would be Edwin's golden opportunity. It took 5 years for this opportunity to show up, but Edwin Barnes stayed and waited, knowing what he came for and believing that he was going to get it. So one of the moral lessons of this story is that we should stay ready, but start somewhere. Start somewhere, but stay ready. Now, psychologists have correctly said that when one is truly ready for a thing, it puts in its appearance. Barnes was ready for a business association with Edison. Moreover, he was determined to remain ready until he got that which he was seeking. Barnes was so successful with selling this equipment called the Ediphone that his name had to be imprinted on the product alongside the manufacturer's name. He said, made by Edison, but installed by Barnes. The author continued, said he did not say to himself, well, what's the use? I guess I'll change my mind and try for a salesman's job. But he did say, I came here to go into business with Edison, and I'll accomplish this end if it takes the remainder of my life. He meant it. What a different story people would have to tell if only they would adopt a definite purpose. A definite purpose. Remember that whatever you put your heart to work actually works. Things will work if you work them. Whatever you don't work doesn't work. A man called R.U. Darby would later become a very successful insurance salesman. But before he had an experience with his uncle who went into gold mining. Never consulted, any professional. Dug and never found gold. Got frustrated and sold off the land to, the author referred to the person as a junk man. But this junk man, the author said, was not the regular junk man. He first of all consulted a mining engineer to, do some calculations and, tell him, where can we get this gold? And here's what happened. The engineer advised that the project had failed because the former owners were not familiar with the fault lines. His calculations showed that the vein would be found just 3 feet from where the Darbies had stopped drilling. Failure is frustrating, but you know, when you give in to failure, it makes you give up most times just before the breakthrough, just before the success, just before when you were supposed to, hit the jackpot. And this singular act of failure, because eventually they got to hear that, the land you sold off actually had gold. Only if you had consulted the right people with the right knowledge. Sometimes we suffer for things that are so little. We would have consulted someone. We would have asked, I'm trying to do this. Do you have an idea? We don't know everything. But when we recognize that we actually don't know everything, that is when we can get help. So if the Darbies had, made proper consultations, it would have been easy. But no, they didn't. They got frustrated and sold off, and another person consulted an engineer who was experienced in those kind of things. So this singular mistake of R.U. Darby's uncle was the bedrock on which his life was founded. And that was how he became a successful insurance salesperson. So the author said, failure is a trickster with a keen sense of irony and cunning. It takes great delight in tripping one up when success is almost within reach. The gold was found 3 feet away from where they stopped drilling. Wow. Wow. Success will eventually come if you don't give in to failure. The author said something. He said, when riches begin to come, they come so quickly in such great abundance that one wonders where they have been hiding during all those lean years. We ought to keep pressing and not give up, because if we do not give up, we will definitely reap the fruit of our labor. And success eventually comes to those who are success conscious. It will eventually come if you are success conscious. Yes. As we wrap up chapter 1, a few things I wrote. I said, you are the master of your fate and the captain of your soul, because you have the power to control your thoughts. Your thoughts. Our brains become magnetized with the dominating thoughts we hold in our minds. No one understands how, but it is so true that our thoughts make our reality. Our thoughts make our reality. Start thinking like you are successful, and eventually you will be successful. Chapter 2. Titled Desire, the starting point of all achievement. Subtitled The First Step to Riches. So it says, when Edwin C. Barnes climbed down from the freight train in Orange, New Jersey, he may have resembled a tramp. That was what Thomas Edison called him. But his thoughts were those of a king. You may be a janitor. What are your thoughts? You may be a maid. What are your thoughts? You may be a security guard. What are your thoughts? It says, he may have resembled a tramp, but his thoughts were those of a king. Your thoughts actually make who you are. Of course, there is nothing that can stop a made-up mind. Absolutely nothing. It all begins with a desire. I wrote, people will see you only in the days of your triumph and will envy you without taking time to investigate your process or your success story. We were talking about Edwin Barnes, Thomas Edison. Nobody would have heard of these people if they gave up on their desire. Remember, Thomas Edison would work on electricity for how many thousand times and still kept at it. People wouldn't see those days when you're backstage developing, when you're behind the scene, working on yourself, working on your desire, your ambition, your goals, your dreams. But the moment you make headlines, wow, you become the envy of the people. There is a process to everything. Don't think that somebody who just woke up today on, billions of dollars from hard work just started last night. Except, of course, you won a jackpot. There's a lot of hard work that goes into success. Don't let anybody fool you. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. But if you must win, your desire has to be very strong. Your desire has to be very strong. I'll read a story here. It said, a long while ago, a great warrior had to make a decision which ensured his success on the battlefield. He was about to send his armies against a powerful foe, whose men outnumbered his own. He loaded his soldiers into boats, sailed to the enemy's country, unloaded soldiers and equipment, then gave the order to burn the ships that had carried them. Addressing his men before the battle, he said, "You see the boats going up in smoke. That means we cannot leave these shores alive unless we win. We now have no choice. We win or we perish." They won. They won. Every person who wins in any undertaking must be willing to burn his ships and cut all sources of retreat. Only by so doing can one be sure of maintaining that state of mind, known as a burning desire to win. It is essential to success, a burning desire to win. It says, every human who understands the purpose of money wishes for it. Wishing will not bring riches, but desiring riches with a state of mind that becomes an obsession, then planning definite ways and means to acquire riches, and backing those plans with persistence, which does not recognize failure, will bring riches. Now, the author listed six practical steps, to take if one desires riches. One, it says, fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire. It is not sufficient to merely say, "I want plenty of money." Be definite as to the amount. Number two, determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money you desire. There's no such reality as something for nothing. Even in Freetown, nothing is free. Establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money you desire. Create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you are ready or not, to put this plan into action. Number 5, write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire. Name the time limit for its acquisition. State what you intend to give in return for the money, and describe clearly the plan through which you intend to accumulate it. 6, and the last, read your written statement aloud twice daily, once just before you're retiring at night and once after rising in the morning. As you read, see and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money. It says, one must realize that all who have accumulated great fortunes first did a certain amount of dreaming, hoping, wishing, desiring, and planning before they acquired money. You have to dream, hope, wish, desire, plan, and work. Don't just plan, put the plan to action. It's already the end of, we're left with just December this month, and you can achieve so much in the new year if you start dreaming, hoping, wishing, planning, and acting. All must be capped up with actions. Actions speak louder than words. It goes ahead to say, if the thing you wish to do is right and you believe in it, go ahead and do it. Put your dreams across and never mind what they say if you meet with temporary defeat. For they perhaps do not know that every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent success. In every failure, you have to take your lessons. People will talk down and, try to discourage you. But if you believe, nothing will, be impossible for you to achieve. Just believe. Mary Kay Ash. This one is popular among women, because of the cosmetics she manufactures. Yeah. Mary Kay Ash, the founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics, attributed her success to the development of self-confidence and faith in herself and in all the people in her vast organization, which now consists of more than 250,000 independent beauty consultants worldwide. She used to work for a company called Stanley Home Products. They manufacture home cleaning, liquids and all of that stuff. So she worked for them, and then she wasn't really successful the first year. And then they went for an event, and then somebody won the contest, the queen of, Stanley Homes, blah, blah, blah. And she walked up to the president and said, I'm going to win this crown next year. And somehow the president believed in her and said, surely you will. And she did. We ought to believe in ourselves. Nobody is going to believe in us if we do not believe in ourselves. We must first believe in ourselves, believe in our dreams, believe in the things that we say we want to be or will be before we can sell this idea to another person. So Mary Kay, in an article titled Personal Excellence, suggested some, self-help exercises that can help you create an image of excellence for yourself. The first suggestion is imagine yourself successful. The second one is reflect on your past successes. You've not been a failure all your life. You definitely have won somewhere. Reflect on those. It has a way of encouraging you that this one too, you could win. Set definite goals. And lastly, respond positively to life. Don't be hard on yourself. Celebrate small wins while you wait for the big ones. Yes, it doesn't have to be so hard. It doesn't have to be. I will now wrap up chapter 2 with this statement. Our only limitations would be the ones that we set up in our minds. Do not limit yourself. I would like to, stop here for today because it's already lengthy. So we just covered chapter 1 and 2, and it's been amazing. So much to, take home. But let's not forget the things that we have learned today. Let's not forget, the power of thoughts, and chapter 2 talked about desire. There's nothing stopping a made-up mind. Nothing should stop you. People have done it in the past. I think that we should be glad that we receive documentations like this in form of books to tell us stories about people who have lived before us, who have tried life, using some certain principles which worked. You get, which can also work for us if we dare to try them. So it is not enough to learn. Learning is useless when there's no action. Learning is useless when there's no practice. let's put these things to practice in the tiniest of ways, in no matter how small it is. Put it to practice and see for yourself if these principles actually lie. But I know that they don't. If they've helped people in the past, they will help you today. Nothing is really new under the sun. Absolutely nothing. So with all of that being said, I want to believe that you had a good time with us today. Yes. And you learned so much. I'll try as much as possible to bring us, subsequent chapters within the shortest possible time. Until then, be good. Take care of yourself. Your mental health is important. Your everything is important. So with all of that being said, I hope that we learned a lot today. See us next time. I hope to bring us the subsequent chapters within the shortest possible time. So until then, be good, take care of yourself. You matter. You matter. Keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing. Love you.